Alright, so I have this fence, this gate, that has always been broken since we moved in here. So what I did was, it was actually using the latch system. I cut the latch off, and I redid the bolts. I redid the bolts. Because the metal was just hanging around. So today's attempt is to take this new lockbox, situate that right there. Hopefully it works. Okay, so while I'm grinding the fence, let's get a little background on my welding skills. So back in 1994 or 93, I was a sophomore in high school where I took metal shop. In metal shop, I learned how to weld with the MIG, the TIG, and the gas welding. And I also learned how to do some cast iron casting. So I decided that, hey, why not give this a shot, relive those glory days. So I am going to attempt to put a lockbox on this fence. So we bought this house in 2016. It came with this fence that always needed some care. When it was installed, the fence was leaning, whoever originally installed it. It could never lock properly, and the lag bolts that hold the frame to the cinder block or the wall would always pop out. So an issue that my gardener had is he is 5'1" and he always have a hard time opening the latch. So he would have to actually climb on the trash can bins to unlatch the fence. Or I would unlock the fence for him and then leave it open for him on days that he'd come over. So to make his life easier, I'm like, okay, fine, I'm just going to put a lockbox here in the gate. So I contacted a few welders around the neighborhood, and the average price was $180 to $210 to put this lockbox in. I thought that was pretty pricey for a lockbox, so I decided to pick up a welder from Harbor Freight and do my own welding. So before I could weld, I need to prepare this gate with some surface for the lockbox to weld to. That's why I am grinding off all the paint and rust to expose the bare metal. And at this point, I am using my angle grinder with a cutting blade without the guard on. So I purchased a packet of 5-inch blades that is 1 inch too big for my angle grinder. My angle grinder can only hold 4-inch blades. So do my best not to injure myself cutting the fence. So do the best I can cutting the fence while it's standing and cutting a straight line. The fence would usually, or would on occasion, close on me, so I have my foot down there trying to wedge it from not moving around. And the gate itself, it has a very flimsy mesh metal, so that was kind of cumbersome as well in terms of cutting it. So here's a dry fit of the lockbox. It did not fit on the first run, which I anticipated would not. So there's some errors of the square tubing that I had to grind off. So here I have my grinding blade attached to my angle grinder, and I'm just grinding off some of those peaks so that when I put the lockbox back on, it actually fits. So at this point, the fitting is good enough for me. Some of the gaps are a little too big, but I'm not an expert at this, so I'm going to do whatever I can to get this thing to work. So here's the Harbor Freight welding machine. It is a titanium 120 amp welder, MIG welder. Easy for me to use because all I have to do is plug it into the power cord, clip that ground cable to my work object, and then push the button to weld. So I'm starting from the bottom first with the weld. So it's been a while since I've welded, so I am just using very slow C circular motion, if that makes sense. So yeah, so with this project I had to buy the welding mask and the welding machine and the welding apron. So the cost was just a little bit more, but I figure I can use the equipment again later on something else around the house. So at this point I am done welding. I am just now grinding off or cleaning up the weld. There were some splats of the welding, so just grind those off, and any large bumps I would just grind off. So here I have a can of black Rust-Oleum. I am just quickly spraying that right now, just in case rust surface for whatever reason. So to buy me some time, I'm using this Rust-Oleum spray paint so that I can prevent rust. I will come back to it and paint the fence brown again. So this is where the strike plate is for the deadbolt section. I'm using my handheld Dremel tool to make the smaller cuts because the angle grinder does not fit in that section. And having this tool actually helped a lot because it speeds up the cutting process. So I have a center punch just to knock down the piece of metal, and then now I'm just applying the bracket for the lock, the deadbolt. And then here is the fence with the lock put together. It closes. I'm very happy with that. There's very small clearance, and I'm super happy with that. So now the last thing I need to do is paint this thing, and give the gardener his key. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Bye.